Alex and Geoffrey made a video about the basics, so I decided to give you my points as well. But the basics are nothing else, at least for me, but the stuff that silver and golden era bodybuilders used. Oh, but golden era bodybuilders used machines as well? Well, yeah, actually they did. The basics are squats, walking lunges, Romanian deadlift, because I never cared about deadlifts, shoulder presses with dumbbells and barbells, bench press with dumbbells and barbells, lat pull down, pull up, and even T-bar rowing. And for arms, it was push down and French press for triceps, and standing barbell biceps curl and seated dumbbell biceps curl for biceps. Maybe your list is different, but I have been told by the old school bodybuilders in my gym about these lifts, and I've been doing them for 2 to 4 years. For a lot of you, the basics are only dumbbell, barbell, and bodyweight exercises, but as I said, golden era bodybuilders probably used more machine-based exercises than these so-called basic exercises. This is just a fact. You should already see that my list is leaving gains on the table. There was not much hamstring work, glute work, and upper back was so-so, but it was okay. But you can still fill up those blank spaces, but at that time, my basics didn't cover those. And people have started bashing the basics for views, to be contrarian, for financial reasons, and so on. But I don't think bashing is the way to go around it. Sure, instead of a T-bar rowing, if you do a seated rowing for upper back, like a wide one, is probably better, but I can't say that the T-bar rowing is not working. Also, you can't say that squats are awful, because that's an exaggeration, even though I haven't squatted for years and my legs are never been as good as they are right now, even though this goes against this whole video what I'm making. But this is just to say that squats are still working. It is just facts, there is no point lying about it. But probably 70% of the physique what I built was done by the basics. Once I got to 2 plates, so 100 kg on bench press, my chest was decent sized. When I could pull up way more than my body weight, my back grew. When I could biceps curl more weight, my arm started to grow. And you see where I'm going with this one. So if you progress an exercise that targets a certain muscle, you are going to grow that area. Yeah, of course, if your execution is on point, but let's assume it is. So if I added 17 kg in the first 7 years of my training using the basic shit, and in the last 3 years I added 3 kg using a mix of stable and the basic exercises, can I really say that the basics don't work? Or the majority of my gains came from the highly stable exercises? I can't. Just like I can't say that my channel wouldn't grow faster if you press the like button. Thank you. But if I could rewind time, I would probably change things up, because I would get to my physique way faster if I knew what I know right now. Especially if I could use some optimal stuff like a hack squat. I know, but optimal as a word has been bastardized. People don't even know what it means. It just means that it is optimized, so it is perfectly matching you and your goals, nothing else. But whenever you use optimal, people think that it doesn't have flows, and it led to comparing exercises that shouldn't be compared, like pull down to pull-ups. And even though I've done that too, I know that they are interchangeable. I made a video about improving my lat pull down, and that improved my pull-up, but also my pull-up improved my lat pull down. So it's the same fucking exercise. But guess what? I have been to a gym in the capital where there was no bloody lat pull down. So what was I supposed to do there? Skip pull-ups because they are slightly inferior, like what, 5 to 10% to the pull down? No. So what is the exercise that you can do everywhere? It is still the basics. And there are some people who still say that the top guys train the old school way and they look way better and bigger than the optimal bros. And it is true, the silver era, and I don't even want to mention the golden era bodybuilders, looked way better and were bigger than the optimal bros. And unfortunately, that includes me as well. But I don't think you can bring that up as a rule. The only reason we saw the top bodybuilders and were exposed to them is because they were the top, the best of the best, elite genetics. How many people achieved Arnold's physique? only Arnold, right? You can do his training, you can eat his meals, take his drugs, you would never look like Arnold. So bringing elite genetics to the table just to fortify your rule shows that how fragile your rule is. It can crumble from any critique against it. How many silver and golden era average gym bro look better than today's average gym bros? Probably none, right? So that is a fair comparison. You compare the majority, the average, to the average. If you compare the top one, people are still saying that, oh, but the golden era bodybuilders were the biggest still. What? Are you blind? Have you seen what's going on in the Olympia stage? Mass monsters are walking it. It's crazy how big they are. So if you compare the top to the top, they are much bigger right now. And people are still saying, just do the basics. Science is killing your gains. Science just confirms what was assumed falsely or rightly. Isn't it better to know that you don't have to bulk up 15 kg plus and then diet for 6 months plus just to get to your physique or to gain muscle, that you can do that with 5 kg and just diet for 10 plus weeks? Isn't it better to know that a lat pullover is a dog water exercise for your lats, so you shouldn't do that if you want bigger backs? Isn't it better that we know that you don't have to do 12 exercises for 5 sets per training day just to grow, but you can do half of it and even less? That's still science. With science improving, the quality of your training and your physique improves as well. And science is not something that, oh, I just came up with a theory. They usually test it based on what bodybuilder says. If a bodybuilder said that, low volume workout works, and the scientist goes, okay, let's try that. But optimal training has a big downside that favors the basics. That you can make gains everywhere with the basics. If you have a bench and a barbell, you can make gains. Pick any gym, any place, even in your apartment. And guess what? Those barbell exercises are still going to carry over to your machine exercises. And there will be some people saying, oh, but it doesn't go the other way around. It does. But if you don't have a machine, you can't do a machine press. As I said, most things are interchangeable. Lat pull down, pull up. I'm living in London, and one of the biggest gym chain has the worst machine you ever seen in your life. Bad alignment, bad resistance profile, and bad setup. There is so much money circulating in London, yet the gyms with a £120 membership price, actually £120 plus, has the worst machines. You see Techno Gym and Matrix everywhere. Look at the price. And then look at the price of a top machine. It's unbelievable. But do you know what else is unbelievable? That I've been here in like 10 gyms. I have not seen a single Nautilus one. And that is not even the worst part. These Techno and Matrix gyms, these cheap ones, are not even maintained or changed. It's been there for 17 years. It's the same machine. Whereas if you go to any European country, I usually visit Hungary because that's where I'm from, and not even the capital, the gym has the best machines. They also change them, maintain them, and they don't even make a fraction of the money what these big chains are. So what do you do in a gym where the machines offer you worse things than benefits? You're going to use the basics. That's exactly what I've been doing right now. A matrix lying hamstring curl has the worst resistance profile. It gets harder when the hamstrings are weak and they can't even experience much growth. But whenever I'm in Hungary and using a Nautilus seated hamstring curl, I come back stronger, even though I only train there for 2 to 3 weeks. So it does matter what kind of machine you are using, because sometimes you are using machines that has no benefit of using it. And stability is important, and I always say that stability increases motor unit recruitment, and some of you just say that, by how much? It must be really small. By a lot. By a really lot. Squats are great. I've tried to do a Smith machine squats. That's even better for your quads. I've tried to do a hack squat. That's even more stable and better for your quads. It does matter. And this is where some people say that, oh, but then if I can hack squat 3 plates, why I can't squat 3 plates? Well, there is no carryover. There is carryover. But you are going to have a different execution. In the hack squat, you are doing mainly quad bias, where whenever you are squatting, there's a chance that your form goes a bit amiss and then you are doing a bit more glute bias, but you haven't trained your glutes in that position. You get it now? Everything is interchangeable. So if you get really strong on the basics, you are going to get the majority of your gains. And if you want to maximize your gains, you will have to mix in some highly stable exercises and machines. But bashing the basics is pointless, because you know that it works. I know it works. As I said, golden era bodybuilders use the basics along with highly stable machines, and today's top bodybuilders are using highly stable machines along with the basics. So the basics are working. That's why we are still doing it. Let me know your opinion. For online coaching, hit the link in the description, subscribe, talk to you in the next one.